And Minister, thank you very much for taking this very important debate around a critical issue to our economy but also to society. And I too would welcome Francie Gorman, President of the IFA. I obviously have had a lot of very close interaction with both Wicklow and Wexford IFA, and indeed Mochran Firm and the other farm organisations. And I'm delighted to say that the first female Deputy President, Alice Doyle, is of course from my neck of the woods, and I do think it is important that we address the role of women within agriculture as well. But today we're going to speak around the question of CAP. And Minister, I welcome your comments, but it is absolutely critical that CAP remains as a standalone policy of the EU, that it's separately funded and that it is ring-fenced for agriculture. Because the purpose of CAP, as you would have outlined, going right back to the early days of the European Economic Community, was to support a sustainable future for the farmers of Europe, to ensure that we had food security and food production, and to ensure cheap food, basically, for the citizens of Europe. And that does require that we make available the necessary supports for farmers to be able to continue with that policy. So it is therefore critical that we have a fully funded CAP in the next round as part of the multi-annual funding framework. But it shouldn't just be, Minister, and this is crucial, and I'd be interested to hear your views on this. We also need to consider it in the context of an enlarged European Union. Ireland has rightly stood, for instance, behind Ukraine's path to accession to the European Union, and we continue to strongly support Ukraine. Ukraine is a very strong food exporter, as you know, but it may be a significant beneficiary under Pillar 2 if it was currently a member. So we've got to ensure that under the next CAP, that if we see enlargement of the European Union, which we support, that not alone is CAP sufficient to meet current needs, but also as part of an enlarged European Union. I think it is critical as well, Minister, when we come to looking at the issue of convergence, and you'll be aware of the problem under the current CAP, productive farms should not be penalised. And I would be interested to hear your views with regard to convergence. It's critical that we support those productive family farms right around the country. I mentioned, we can talk about a fully funded CAP. This does mean us taking very serious decisions around the multi-annual funding framework of the European Union as a whole, because it is critical as well, and related to agriculture, that the European Union has a sufficient research budget. And that will include support for research in agriculture. And yes, we do need to address the European security budget. I think everybody accepts that. But that means overall that the overall EU budget needs to be large, not just for Europe as it is now, but the Europe that we see well into the future. On environmental issues, farmers are the frontline workers in the battle against climate change. They see it firsthand. Dealing with the biodiversity challenge, if you provide supports to farmers, they will make sure that they will address it. But they need the supports to be able to do that. The final point, and I think the key point that I want to make, though, Minister, is about the biggest challenge that we face in agriculture, and that is around generational renewal. When I put the parliamentary questions on this earlier in the year, the Farm Structure Survey, which was carried out, and you'll be aware of it, it now shows that just 4.35% of farm holders are under the age of 35, where 64.2% are aged 55 and over. And you know those statistics. In any other sector of the economy or society, we would be talking about a major crisis there. It is critical that we get more young people involved in farming and food production. And that means, and that includes in our own budgets, but definitely as part of the CAP, and I am heartened by EU Commissioner Christoph Hansen's remarks in this regard, it's important that we expand viable sources of finance for young farmers, and indeed that there is access to capital. And I do think it is useful to engage with MACRA and indeed more young farmers on this. I look forward to seeing the Commission on Generational Renewal, its report. I understand that it is due to be published relatively soon, and its recommendations. But I do believe this is a critical issue. It's very important. I know for you and indeed for my party, it's critical. I thank you for this opportunity, and I'm now grateful to share my time with my party colleague, chap on hap. Go on, Molly.